Well, good morning, my friends. Thank you so much for stopping by today. You have reached the NeedleBugg, and my name is Karen, and this is a channel about needlework, cross-stitch, hardhanger, and whatever kind of stitching you can do with a one-eyed needle. You never quite know what technique you're going to find here, but most of the time it's counted cross stitch, full coverage, or some hardhanger. So welcome. If you are new and one of the many new subscribers I have gotten lately, thank you so much for giving the channel a try, and I hope you find something that you like. And we'll stick around. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so very much for coming back. It is a pleasure meeting with you, talking with you, interacting with you. Just so much fun. I totally love it. And I am so glad that you stopped by and that you come back, even if only occasionally. It's okay. And to my VIP members, you guys are VIPs. I can't thank you all enough for your encouragement and your support and all the things that go along with that. And just have to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for hanging in there with this crazy channel, because sometimes it gets a little crazy. So what are we here today for? Today I thought I'd do something that I don't do all that often. But I thought, well, let's do an update on the things I'm working on. Because, well, July was just a month where there was a lot going on. I didn't get, well, June and July, I didn't get a whole lot of stitching done, but I need to update you on what's been going on, what I did get done, because it's been a bit of time. So, got some new things. Got some old things. Not going to even go to the things I haven't touched at all because there are some of those. But you know what? I am very much a stitch what you want, when you want kind of person. I don't necessarily have plans. I don't have a rotation. I sit and stitch on whatever calls to me that particular day. Sometimes it may be several days in a row of the same thing. Some days, it's rare, but some days I barely stitch at all. So it depends if, well, lately that's kind of been the case because there's been other things going on. And I'll give you a little bit of an update on those, but probably not too much. But we'll get into that closer to the end. First, let's take a look at what have I been working on. Well, I'll give you an update on this one first. Let me see if we all know, or those of you that have been here for a while, know that we did a hardhanger stitch along on the Mary Hickman sampler. So I'm going to show you as best I can the picture that I could find of mine when it was in progress. Okay, so this sampler is 3 across by 5 down. And what I did then ultimately was I made it into a little clutch. So as you can see, and there is a video on how I did this, okay? So as you can see, I lined it with some other linen. One row is the, whoops, okay, I never can get this camera right. One row is the flap. 2 rows are the front, and then the other 2 rows of the sampler make up the back. So that's Mary Hickman. I think it turned out absolutely wonderful. I am very pleased with it, and I will tell you, I am not a finisher. Finishing is one of the things I do not enjoy doing. but I truly, truly am happy with the way this turned out. And I do use it. There is actually, we'll look at it later, but there is actually a small piece in there. Okay? So it's just a nice little, I don't know, envelope type thing to carry a small travel piece in. Fits nice in your purse. It will get used a lot. Hopefully that stitching is going to hold up through all the wear and tear. But that's the Mary Hickman sampler made into a little envelope type clutch. I don't know what else to call it. And I had one of my VIP members she did help me a bit with some instructions on how she thought it would be put together. And I kind of followed her suggestion and did a little bit of alterations on my own. And this is what it came up with. So thank you, Missy, for all your help in getting this together. So that is project number 1, completely finished and in use. So let's hide that. Okay. Now, if you have been with me for a while, you know that I fell down the rabbit hole of doing some heart hanger. And I did buy the Japanese book of I took it off my cart, so I don't have it right here. Blue cover. I showed it to you in a previous video. I believe it's some kind of elegant heart hanger borders is essentially what it's called. It's written a little bit differently, but it's one of the books that's it's a little bit hard to find. So I did start a piece from there. I originally bought it because it had this absolutely gorgeous, to die for tablecloth in it. And the more I thought about that, as much as I wanted to stitch that, the more I thought about it is, you know what, that is going to take me years and years and years. I'm not sure that I would ever be able to finish it. So there was another table runner in there that I thought, well, that's a little bit more doable. It's still going to take a long, long time, but it's a little bit more doable. So we thought, okay, let's start that one. Oops, sorry, wrong picture. Tell me I forgot to put that picture in. Oh, my Lanta. Well, if you go back here, I'm going to switch you back. So let's switch back to me. So I did start it. I have worked on it. So let me see if I can. It is white on white, so hopefully the light is not going to blow it out. Okay, so here is my start. Okay, like I said, it's a little hard to see because it's white on white. And there is going to be a lot of cutting and wrapping on this thing, as you saw from that picture. I am doing this. I went a little crazy. I jumped off the deep end. Because, traditional heart hanger was most often done on a very, very fine count linen. Even finer counts than we have access to today. It was done on 50 count. It was done on 60 count. It was done on sometimes as high as 70 count linen with linen thread. That's traditional hardanger back in the day. And I believe in Norway it's still done that way. I'm not sure, but I'm going to guess that they still work on fine count linen with linen thread, because I'm sure there are traditionalists there that continue to do that. I'm stitching this on 40 count Verdal. That's the Zweigert's 40 count even weave. It's a blend similar to Lugana, but it's 40 count. Okay, a dream to work on. It is beautiful, beautiful fabric. And I'm using, you're thinking, oh, Karen, you use 8 and 12 when you stitch on 25 count Lugana. You use pearl cotton size 8 and 12. What are you using on 40 count? Well, my friends, the cluster blocks and all the satin stitch work, surface work, will be done with size 12 pearl cotton, which normally was what I used to do the wrapping. So now you're thinking, well, what if you're using size 12 for the blocks and the surface stitching? What, pray tell, are you using for the wrapping? Because that has to be a finer thread. Well, I found, and I got a cone of it because there's going to be a lot of wrapping on this. I got a cone of a size 50 cotton sewing thread. So that's what all the wrapping is going to be done with. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but I did a little bit of a, yeah, it's too small for you to see. I did a little bit of test stitching up in the corner of this fabric so that I could get an idea of what size sewing thread to get, because those I don't understand at all. So I'm going to say that right up front. But sewing thread is sized differently than pearl cotton. So you got to come up, you have to play around a little bit with it, which is what I did. So I chose the size 50, which did wrap it quite nicely. The other thing I could have maybe used was one strand of embroidery floss. But I looked at the amount of wrapping that's going to have to be done on this. It would take a tremendous amount of embroidery floss. And I thought, you know what? It's probably more cost effective to buy the cone of cotton sewing thread in a size 50 than it is to buy a cone of white embroidery floss. Okay, so that's what I did. So I don't stitch on this every day. I stitch on it occasionally. Right now have it on hold for just a little bit, and I will get into why after we go through my stitching. Okay, I'll have something else to tell you about. So that is a finish, one hardanger project, and I have one more project in the hardanger category. And this one is a project of my own design. Okay, it's just going to be a small doily. I'm designing it as I go, so I can't even show you what it's going to look like finished, because truth be told, I have no idea what it's going to look like finished. So this is what I've done so far. I pick this up every once in a while and put a little bit more on it. So far it is the cluster blocks. It has a center, here we go, a center motif over here. That will get filled in with a filling stitch. It has a double running stitch along in between these two rows of blocks. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to put, I should do it this way, if I'm going to put surface stitching in here in this diamond or if I'm going to cut that out, and I haven't decided what I'm going to do in these areas yet. So sometimes I work a little bit on it and then I let it sit a while till something comes into my little brain that says, oh, that would probably look pretty good in there. Let's try that. I have learned one thing though. Don't do any cutting until you're sure with the design that you want to put in there. So this one gets also picked up upon occasion and has a little bit more stitches put in it. So I do like the way it's coming along. It's, show it this way, maybe you can see it better. There you go. And I think I want to do a lacy edge on it. I'm thinking that's going to be the case, but we'll see how that progresses as time goes on. These are not my I stitch on them when I feel like stitching on them. They are not the ones that call to me the most. What's been calling to me the most? Let me reach down here and get this file. And let me put this up because this is where I was the last time you saw God Shed His Grace. Okay, now if you remember, I'm going to move that there a little bit. This is the design that I originally got from Cross Stitch Studio. And it's huge. Tremendously huge. And then I was told by one of my subscribers that, you know what, Artisy has the same design and it's not as big. And I thought, ooh, you know what? That's going to be a whole lot more doable. Because what I was going to do with the Cross Stitch Studio one is divide it into 3 panels because it was that huge. It was pretty comparable to a Heaven and Earth supersized. I was going to divide it into 3 panels and thought, you know what, if I only ever get one done, one of them would stand alone by itself and be just fine. I had no hope of ever getting all 3 done. It was just that big. So I decided to restart and do the one by Artisy. So this is where it was the last time. I'm stitching it on 20 count Easy Guide fabric. The month of July, I put in I put in a little over 3,200 stitches. Oops, I always want to go the wrong way. There we go. So that's how far I am. I was going to do a little bit of cross country, but I was finding, nope, not loving that. So I'm kind of back to trying to fill in and start again on the diagonal. I'm undecided if I want to do diagonal parking, or if I want to just fill in the color down the diagonal. So I'm kind of wishy-washy between both ways. But you can see, if I can hold this way, Oh, wrong hand. I do this backwards every time. If you can see here, isn't it gorgeous looking? The fence is starting to come in. And you know, as I was stitching that, I was going, what in the world is this? All these crazy colors here. They're making no sense. When you're up on it, it makes absolutely no sense until you step back and go, oh my God, it's the fence. It's the fence. And you see here, it's the fence post, and the fence is going up this way, and it's going to come over this way. Ah, it just looks so, so nice. I'm very happy with the way it's turning out. I did at one point think, oh, let's just work in a column all the way up to the top and then fill it in by columns. I still may do that. I'm undecided. And at this point, I just truly enjoy working on it. So that's where we are with this one. And this next one, which is the last one I'm working on. Actually, I can show it to you in Pattern Keeper. What am I thinking? Huh. Sometimes, Karen, if you had a brain, it'd be dangerous. Truth be told. Okay. See if I can do this one. This piece has called to me for a long, long time. A very long time. And I keep putting it off. And I kept putting it off. And you know what? I thought, you know what, Karen, you're not getting any younger. At this point, the name of the game is stitch on what you love. And at any age, it's stitch on what you love. Will I ever get it finished? Who knows? Probably not. But what time I spend stitching on it, will I enjoy? Absolutely. So we have a new start, the month of July. And I did not write down the day that I started it. It was somewhere around mid-July, like around the 15th, something like that. I'm working it on, are you ready? 28 count, easy guide, 1/1, full cross. And you're going, oh, Karen, can you see it? Can you see it? Can you see it? And that will segue into my next thing that I want to talk about. But first, let's look at what it is and how far I got. So it is by Lushpin. It is a discontinued chart from Heaven and Earth, but it is, let's see, pardon the glare. I'm not sure I can, there. That gets rid of it a little better. It's called Montmartre. I can't say it. MONTMARTRE. Spring. Isn't it just gorgeous? And pardon the glare. My lights here are... I need the light to be able to show you the pieces, but then when I have to do this, it is a little bit much. There we go. That's not so bad. Okay. So I started in the bottom right-hand corner. So I started, oh, see, I do this wrong. Not that corner. Whoops. I started down here. Down here in this corner. Okay. So, yes, it's all dark colors. It is all very dark colors. It's very dark blues and browns and a lot of black, because it is a nighttime scene. But then it has the pops of the gold for the lights and what have you. So this is how far I've gotten. And it's hard to see. There are several colors in there. But that's 1,500 stitches. Okay. So that's how far I got on that one. And you're saying, Karen, you have trouble seeing those little things. How are you doing that? Well, right now I'm using those little mag-eye clip-on things. And that's probably why I only have 1,500 stitches done, because I have to take my time and I have to be careful that I'm getting in the right holes. However, I want to see if my email came yet. Not yet. However, if you remember, in a previous video, I talked about considering ordering a pair of craft optics. And those are it's a pair of glasses that have your regular prescription on them. And then there's, I'm going to call them telescopes, because they're on a hinge and you can flip them up when you don't use them. But when you bring them down, it looks like two little telescopes or two little binoculars that you look through that magnifies your prescription 2 times so that you can see the very small stuff. Now, that magnification is different than what you get in drugstore readers. Okay? Totally different. And there are instructions for their use. You know, you have to make sure that your glasses are sitting up on your nose correctly. You bring the lenses down that they touch your glasses. And when you look through them, you're looking at what you are working on. They're not to look around the room with. You're not going to do that. So they're adjusted that you'll be, like, I'll be looking through I have progressive lenses, but I'll be looking through the bottom part through those magnifiers onto my stitching. But then the upper part of my glasses, if I look up, I'll be able to see my tablet and those things right around me that I need to do my work. Looking at a television might be a little bit blurry. But when you think about that, when you think about when you're stitching, where's your focus? Yeah, we all might have our TV on, but are you actually sitting and watching your TV? Or are you paying attention to your stitching and you're listening to your TV? So that you're not necessarily looking up and watching the TV all the time. Most times you want what's in front of you, your stitching. You want to be able to see your tablet or your chart. You want to be able to reach for your scissors. You want to get your new color or whatever, and everything is in this little bubble. So that's what these glasses are intended to do, so that you can see, magnify that really fine stitching to a point where you can see it really well and be able to see where the tools are that you need to do that. So, almost 3 weeks ago, not quite 3 weeks ago, I ordered a pair. I bit the dust and did it. I just got an email the end of last week to say that they're almost ready, and they sent me a few videos to watch to prepare myself on how to use them. So since I got those, I'm hoping they're going to ship at any time now, and I will have them within the next week or so. When I get them, and I have used them a little bit, I will do a review on them for all of you. Everything that I have read, people are saying, oh, we wish we would have gotten these sooner. That they are, I have not read or talked to anybody that did not like them and sent them back. I've talked to some people that are using them and they love them. So I'm hoping the same thing. We shall see. But I will do a review on them after I have them and I have used them for a week or so that we can, I don't want to wear them one day and review them because that's not quite fair. I need to try them a little bit, and that is the one thing. They are not cheap. Okay? Straight up front, they are not cheap. Everyone says they are worth the money. So, truth be told, I don't want to sit here and say, oh yeah, just go out and you can just go out and buy them. It's wonderful. No, you have to weigh what can you financially do, because they are not cheap. So we shall see. That being said, you do get 45 days, which is like a month and a half, to use them. And if you don't like them and they don't do it for you, you can send them back and get a full refund as long as it's within the 45 days. So that was kind of I was sitting on a fence, but that's the thing that swayed me. Well, if I don't like them, I'm not stuck with them. I can send them back, which is a wonderful option to have. So we'll see how they come along. So what else do I have to tell you? A little bit of a life update. Most of you know my husband had some surgery. That was done the beginning of July. He did very, very well, and he is recovering very, very nicely. So I just want to thank all of you for your thoughts and prayers and well wishes, because he did absolutely wonderful. We were to the doctor last week for a follow-up appointment, and they are very, very pleased with his progress. So we have another follow-up in 3 months, and I'm sure things will be absolutely fine. So yeah, he's doing great. So thank you everyone for all your well wishes, because they worked. He's doing wonderful. Then the reason you haven't seen a video from me for the last little bit. I was going to cry. I was going to pull my hair out. I was going to say, is this worth it? I was on a call with a woman. Actually, it was another floss tuber who needed some help with how do you do your setup? How do you do your setup so that you can see you can see your stitching, you can see your chart, the whole bit. It was Honeybee Stitches. I hope I say her name right, Mariana. a lovely, lovely person. And if you don't watch her, please go watch her. Go watch her. She is such a lovely, lovely lady. And it was a joy to have a conversation with her just last week. Yeah. So do go watch her. She does full coverage. I'm trying to think what else. I think she mainly does full coverage from what I have seen. She has very few videos out. She's just starting. So, give her a look. Give her a love. Give her a like. Subscribe. I think you would enjoy her channel. I did truly enjoy it. But it just so happened, and it was just by coincidence, that after I got off the call with her, my computer said it was getting ready to restart because it had downloaded a Windows update. When I originally started doing videos, I was using a Mac, and I have since, about a year ago, switched to a PC. And I do like it much better. However, Windows decides it needs to update upon occasion, and kind of pretty often, to tell you the truth. So I said, okay, update now. I can wait to do what I was going to do, which was make this video. Yeah. That didn't happen. That didn't happen until today, which is Tuesday, August the 1st. The update went on. The computer shut down. The computer restarted. And when it restarted, I got the blue screen of death. That said, it ran into a problem restarting, but I could restart it manually. However, you're on the blue screen of death. How do you get off of that and start it manually? Okay, now what? So I got out my iPad. Thank goodness you have multiple devices, because you need multiple devices to figure out what to do when these things happen. The blue screen of death. So I got out Dr. Google. And I said, Dr. Google, what do you do when you have the blue screen of death? So Dr. Google told me to turn off the computer, turn it back on. As soon as it started up again to restart, turn it off. And do that 3 times. And on the 4th time, let it run, and then you will go into an automatic repair mode. Okay, that sounds reasonable. Let's do that. Okay. I did. Did the 3 times on and off, on and off, on and off. 4th time, let it reboot. It went into the automatic repair mode. And it went back to the blue screen of death. Okay, now what? Well, let's try that again. Maybe it'll work this time. Did the whole thing again. On, off, on, off, on, off. Let it reboot into the automatic repair. It did its thing. And what did I get? The blue screen of death. Did it one more time. And guess what? I bet you can't guess. I'll give you 3, and the first 2 don't count. The blue screen of death. So then Dr. Google came back out again, and I said to Dr. Google, now what do you do? What's the next thing? And to be perfectly honest, I don't remember exactly how I did it, but I followed the directions and I was able to get to the place where I could recover my hard drive. Well, do we know what that means? You have two options. You can recover it and try and save as many of your files that you can, or you can recover and do essentially a factory reset that wipes everything. Wipes everything and puts it back to exactly what you had the day you bought the computer. Well, I tried to save my files. Some saved, some didn't. My setup for here in my streaming or recording software, nothing was saved. It wiped it all, as well as wiping the program. So what it amounted to is it wiped everything, and then you had to reinstall Windows. And you could do that two ways. You could either do it from a disk that you had, or you could download it again from the internet. So since I do not have a disk drive, I had to download it from the internet, which was fine, in order to get my computer back. But then I spent the next 4 days putting programs back on it, setting up things so that they work. I spent a half a day, at least, probably all told the best part of a day, just fixing the sound. Because, and in fact, please let me know how the sound is on this video, because when I first tried to record, it sounded like I was in a tin can. And I said, no, I can't record a video where I sound like I'm in a tin can. That just ain't gonna be happening. So we messed around and we asked Dr. Google, and I did all kinds of things and changed all kinds of settings until I got the sound to what I thought was reasonable. But I would appreciate if you could let me know, is the sound okay? Hopefully I'm not sounding like I'm in a tin can, because I'm not. I'm in my porch. So that's the story of that. Then, not only did I have to fix the sound, I had to reinstall all the programs that I use to make videos. So that means I had to reinstall Prism Live, which is the version of OBS that I use. I had to reinstall IV-Cam, which is what I use to project, so that I can use my phone as a camera so that you can see my stitching. I had to reinstall Let's View, because that's what I used to show you my tablet with a chart on the screen. I had to reinstall my photo editing software. And all that goes with that. I had to reinstall everything. I had to reinstall the program that I use that converts the file to a file I can upload to YouTube. I had to reinstall Drawpad, which is what I use part of when I'm charting something. My biggest headache, and took the best part of 2 days, was to reinstall WinStitch, which is the charting software that I use when I chart something. It would not run. Not at all. It took me 2 days to figure out how to get that to work. 2 blessed days. So, it's been a challenge. I'm surprised my hair, they don't look too gray today. I'm surprised they're not grayer than they already are. Because actually I'm more surprised that I have some left, because I was shortly ready to pull them out. Yeah, it was a challenge, but it's back. I have everything that I need. I do not know what caused the problem to begin with. And at this point, I don't care, as long as everything's working well now. In a sense, it was probably a good thing that it happened, because I could see that things were, but didn't know what to do to fix it. I could kind of tell that things were a little bit off, because when I would restart, things would flash all over the place, all over the screen when the computer was restarting, and it's like, I don't think they're supposed to do this. But I didn't know what it was, and I didn't know how to fix it. So it probably was not a totally bad thing that this happened, because now it doesn't do that. And I said to my husband, now I am only putting on here what I need to do my videos. I'm not putting anything else on. This is going to be used just for doing videos and live streaming. Everything else stays off, because I'm not going to do this again. I'm not. I'm just not. Yeah, to go through that once was, when I initially bought the computer, I had to do all of that. I had to set everything up. And now I've had to do it again, and I'm not doing it the third time. And that even means the screens that you see here when I record, the backgrounds and all of that had to be redone. Now, I can save it to use it again, but all of it had to be redone. All the links had to be put in. So so that it shows my camera, put in that it shows my tablet, all of it. All of it. It's a lot of work. A lot of work. Days and days and days. But we're good now. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I need to do a couple videos on some special stitches for some hard hanger, which I will be, let me think here. I will probably be doing some this afternoon, maybe, or tomorrow, because Thursday I have a routine dentist appointment. Friday, Barb and I are taking her bath time, Heaven and Earth's bath time, down to Total Framing to have it framed. Next week will be a little bit of, next week I'm not going to want to do too much talking, because I need to have a tooth pulled and another implant put in. That's getting old, let me tell you, and expensive. So that'll be next Tuesday next week. Wednesday next week I have a haircut, and something else is Thursday, I don't remember. But it's like, oh gee whiz. But yeah, so in between there sometime I'll get some videos made. Probably what I'm going to do is record a stitch with me this afternoon. Probably. Since you just had this video, there may not be a whole lot of talking. There may be just some music with it and some occasional whatever pops in my head at the moment. Because you're getting kind of all the update right here, right now. But we need to stitch a little bit because we haven't done that. I haven't done that for longer than it went too long. I don't like that. So yeah, I think I'll do a stitch with me this afternoon. So with that, my friends, I think I will let you go for now. Be back this afternoon because we're all pushing an hour here and I don't like them to go longer than that. And really, I didn't think this video was going to last this long. But then I always say that, don't I? Yeah. So I'm going to let you go for now. I will be back and record a stitch with me this afternoon. And it may or may not go up today. It may only go up tomorrow. We shall see. We shall see. So with that, my friends, I hope that you are all staying safe, staying healthy, and remembering that the only rules in cross stitch are the ones you set for yourself. So until next time, have a great rest of your week, and I will see you the next time. Bye-bye.